So the autopsy report is in on Paul George, by George. Paul George, who did not want the sunshine, the fun of the glamour team in L.A., the people's team in the hood in Inglewood, right there at that new Intuit home. Couldn't handle that, so he skedaddled off to the Delaware Valley. Good luck. It's messy, very messy. Now, if you've not been following along, and maybe you've missed it here, let me give you the thumbnail recap. So we have now learned that Paul George says he never wanted to leave Los Angeles. The Clippers offered him contracts, and he didn't choose to take those contracts. But he never wanted to leave L.A. That's the first point that Podcast P wants you to know. Those are his words. Also, he said that the turning point was the negotiation, that there was an offer made by the Clippers to keep him in his beloved Los Angeles. And Paul George said that the opening offer was, quote, disrespectful. Disrespectful. First offer. What was it? How disrespectful was it? Did they make him have to wash dishes when he played basketball after the game? He had to go in the kitchen, clean up the dishes, maybe vacuum a little bit, wash the cars? No. On his fledgling podcast, Podcast P, said the Clippers had the gall to offer him a 2-year contract for $30 million a year per season. So $60 million for 2 years. And to which PG-13, Podcast B, said, whoa, that's crazy. This is a quote. That's crazy. I'm like, nah, I'm not signing that. Yeah. Close quote. Okay. Not signing that. So let us discuss the question. Paul George saying that he wanted to stay in Los Angeles. However, the Clippers' $60 million offer was disrespectful. What does that tell you? All right. So I've got Ann Robinson, Bruno Mars, and Kellogg's. And we will combine all of these things together, and we're going to make the long walk through the hallways of Fox Sports Radio to the vending machine, where in my peripheral vision, I noticed that Eddie Garcia walking over towards the vending machine. What will Eddie get? Will he get soda? Will he get potato chips? Will it be candy? Will it be cookies? Inquiring minds would like to know. The good news is there's nothing healthy in the vending machine, so whatever you get will not be healthy, will not be a healthy option. So, number one. Yes. Number one. Paul George, the word is disingenuous. He was being disingenuous with his commentary. He doesn't want to look like the bad guy, so instead he's trying to make the Clippers look like the bad guy in this little play. I don't buy it. Who gets worked up over an opening offer? Does that make any sense? Seriously. Does it make any sense to get all worked into a tizzy because of an opening offer? Now, I'm pretty low on the totem pole here at Fox Sports Radio. I am. There's two types of radio. There's radio between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. There's radio between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. They're two totally different worlds, and you should never cross. And I'm reminded of that every time I negotiate a new contract. So, but that said, right, I understand the art of negotiation, and that just being a hoi polloi overnight guy, that we're fighting over peanuts here. And yet, I know the opening offer is not the offer you take. You have a counter offer, and it's called a negotiation. Hello, we're not going to CarMax here. This is not the gimmick of no haggle pricing. No, there's haggling involved. It's like a tug of war is what it's like. And we know that. You know that. There's a little bit of back and forth. It's kind of like when Weed Man Hippie's out there panhandling on the streets, right? He's negotiating for more money is what he's doing. But the Clippers, the way I look at this, based on what Paul George said, he's trying to make the Clippers look like the bad guys. The Clippers were the grown-ups in the room here. They were. Like PG-13 in his mid-30s is what's known as a diminishing asset. And yet the Clippers were still going to pay him $30 million a year for a couple of years. So when given the contract, Paul George said, no, I'm going to Mutombo you and I'm going to block you. So the Clippers turned to Ann Robinson, who told Paul George, you are the weakest link. goodbye. Remember that show? Yeah. So now he's going to go eat hoagies and cheesesteaks and tasty cakes in the Delaware Valley and those delicious pretzels, and there'll be an absolute attack by the Philadelphia fan. And I will be rubbernecking. I will be there with a big bucket of popcorn for the feeding frenzy that inevitably will take place. Maybe it doesn't happen during the regular season. However, more likely than not, by the time the playoffs come around, clankety clank clank, it's going to happen. Now, turning the page, we go to the Bay Area, across the country, but we'll stop in Vegas because this story originated from Vegas. And this after Klay Thompson exits stage left, heading from the Bay Area to Dallas. Stephen Curry, the last man standing. Draymond Green's podcasting, so he's sitting down. So Steph Curry said that he only wants to play for the Warriors. Woohoo! I'm sure Alameda Lou's excited about that. Only wants to play for the Warriors. However, things change quickly in the NBA, Steph Curry said. So how do you unscramble the commentary from Stephen Curry? So I've got, on this one, it's a measured response. I think that's kind of straightforward here. It's measured. And Steph humming a few bars of an old Bruno Mars song, Leave the Door Open. He's leaving the door open to say bye-bye to the Golden State basketball. But he don't want to say that right now. He's not at that point. So he's leaving the door open. If, in the multiverse, the Warriors continue to bounce down a never-ending staircase, going lower and lower and lower, back to the O'Donnell Foyle years, the Mike Montgomery years in the Bay Area there, in the power rankings, then all of a sudden you're like, okay, what do we got here? Steph Curry he's left himself an out. He can, at some point in the next couple of years, cherry pick the chance to go somewhere else and get that cheap end-of-career championship run, get that one somewhere in the wild blue yonder, out far away, change the GPS, get an off-ramp away from the Warriors, and it's like, well, he's a veteran. He wants one more chance to taste the celebration, the champagne and all that, and just file this one away. If Buddy Hield does not turn out to be good, I think he'll be fine. But if not, and the Warriors, even if he's well, if Buddy Hield plays well, he's a slightly better version than Klay Thompson at this point because Klay Thompson's washed up. The Maverick fans don't know that yet. They will know that once he starts missing shots for them. So Buddy Hield will be okay. Be a little bit better than Klay Thompson was last year because he can do more things. And at that point, they'll still be a mid-level Western Conference team. All right, final point, a story that's bouncing around via Jayson Tatum from the Boston Shamrocks, as our friend from Rhode Island used to say. So Jayson Tatum showed up to the Team USA camp in Viva Las Vegas, where the partying must be off the hooks there in Vegas. And so Jayson Tatum at Team USA camp settled in and declared that the Celtics winning the championship this summer has ended the debates. It ends the debate on his elite status in the NBA. Is that how you see it? So even our friend Inca Terror, Blind Scott, Blind Emmett, Blind Seabass, all the great blind heroes on the show. Stevie Meatballs, another part of the Blind Mafia there, another guy that's part of the Blind Mafia. All these guys know, right, that the answer is you got to shake your head no. All right, the debate is never ending. It is the eternal flame of debate. And that's good for business. It should never end. The debate is important. You need the debate. The debate is what keeps people engaged, and people engaged consume your product. It's a wonderful thing. So the debate is never ending. It goes on and on and on. And here's how it undergoes a metamorphosis. It changes. It evolves, if you will, the debate. So the argument now, and it's hard to debunk this, is that Jayson Tatum, yeah, he won a championship, but it's the but. That's old Rams coach Mike Martz. There is a drop in there, by the way, Lorena, of Mike Martz saying, He was talking about Mark Bulger, who was the quarterback of the St. Louis Rams at the time. But the but crowd will say, yeah, but Jayson Tatum was dining on a breakfast of Lucky Charms. Kellogg's Lucky Charms is what he had. That's what he was eating. As seemingly every opponent the Celtics played had a major catastrophic injury to a star player. Yeah. So you do that game. Then you're like breaking it apart, the debate. You're like, well, Jayson Tatum's Celtics were a juggernaut. They were a wagon. They were magically delicious during the regular season. And then, again, the playoffs came around, and it was like out of the Bible, Moses parting not the Red Sea, the Eastern Conference. And Jayson Tatum, if you say what happened, just being intellectually honest, Jayson Tatum played like a hobgoblin for big stretches in the playoffs. He was inconsistent. It was not a case where he said, okay, I'm going to go up the mountain. I'm a mule. I'm the donkey, and I'm going to put the team on my back, and I'm going to lead them, even though they're good players, I'm going to lead them to the championship. That's not what happened. It was Jaylen Brown who did that. He's the one that was a Warrior, but not a Golden State Warrior. And he's the one that reached elite status, winning Eastern Conference Finals, MVP, and the NBA Finals MVP. And Jayson Tatum, side by side, you can only pick one. Jaylen Brown was the bus driver, like our friend Roberto, and Jayson Tatum was the bus rider. Period. Stop.